Fellow Kenyans, it is undeniable fact that Kenya must reindustrialize or remain trapped in poverty. Kenya must evolve. Let us begin with clarity. The president is not the root cause of Kenya's problem. The real crisis is economic. And this economic crisis is not accidental. It is the direct result of decades of poor, corrupt, short-sighted leadership. It is like Kenya has been led by non-Kenyans, those who have not the Kenyan interest at heart. President William Ruto campaigned on the promise of correcting this leadership crisis. However, 2 years into his term, it is evident that he lacks both capacity and the political will to fulfill that promise. Despite assembling a broad-based government and receiving external donation of the so-called team of experts, the administration has failed to deliver results. It is now excuse after excuse. Excuses only paralyzes. Excuses cannot solve any problem. Now, in a desperate attempt to rebrand the government, he is proposing an intergenerational conclave, a move aimed at co-opting Gen Zs. This is not empowerment. It is absorption and assimilation. Gen Zs, do not fall into this trap. You will not become part of the solution. You will be consumed by the problem. ODM walked into this trap with their eyes wide open. Look at what they have become. They have now an identity crisis. Gen Zs, remain and retain your unique identity. Don't fall for this trap. Many have been taken down this path and never recovered. This is a familiar strategy. We have seen it in both politics and corporate boardrooms. In the first year, blame your predecessor. In the second year, blame the economy. In the third year, blame your staff. By the fourth year, blame the people themselves. In the fifth year, when all else fails, claim sabotage by the foreign forces or opposition actors and ask for another term. We have seen this playbook before and we know how it ends. Despite our immense national endowment, that is fertile land, abundant labor, youthful population, and natural resources, our economic reality is one of industrial collapse, joblessness, and growing poverty. This is not due to global market forces. It is the result of sustained, deliberate economic sabotage. Between the 1970s and the 1990s, Kenya's manufacturing sector contributed up to 13% of our GDP. Today, it contributes less than 7%. That is not just decline, it is collapse. We once led the region in textile and garment through Rivertex and Kikomi, sugar processing in Mumias and Ramisi, cashew and coconut production in Kilifi and Kwale, leather and meat processing, fertilizer and chemical manufacturing, and fish and seafood industries around Lake Victoria and the Indian Ocean. These sectors created hundreds of thousands of jobs, supported farmers, and grew our local economies. Today, most of them have been looted, privatized, and left to rot by the political elites. This collapse was engineered. We have seen the flooding of cheap imports while local industries are strangled. We have witnessed the rise of political cartels that dominate key sectors, that is land, sugar, oil, ports, and divert national wealth into foreign accounts and drug trafficking networks. Our youths, full of skills and potential, are left unemployed, depressed, or recruited into crime and extremism. Yet, despite this destruction, Kenya still has hope. As Team Evolve, we believe Kenya must evolve. We still possess 7.4 million hectares of arable land. We have a strategic location, ports, highways, and access to regional and global markets. We have a resilient, creative, and youthful population eager to lead and build. What we lack is visionary leadership and political courage. We say, enough is enough. Kenya must evolve. We call for transition government that will help Kenya to evolve. Kenya of charity from a Kenya to a Kenya of production. Evolve from Kenya run by cartels to Kenya run by constitutionalism. We reject a Kenya where youths are ignored while corrupt elites enrich themselves. For Kenya to evolve, the transitional government must be in place to execute the following. 1. Immediate audit and revival of all collapsed public industries. 2. Protect local manufacturing from unfair and predatory imports by practicing protection in the economy where Kenya has got competitive advantage, and open to trade where Kenya lacks competitive edge. 3. Heavy investment in youth-led manufacturing, agro-processing and innovation, sports, arts, and music. 4. A transparent, lean, clean, and accountable national industrial recovery plan. We need to modernize Kenya. 5. Utilization of public land and assets for job creation, not for enrichment of cartels and the creation of sovereign wealth fund instead of leaving Kenya in a cycle of debt. Each government must take office and ensure they leave our debt stock more attractive than they found it, rather than worsening it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a political campaign. It is a national call to action for jobs, for dignity, and for a future that works. We envision a Kenya that produces and consumes, feeds itself, clothes itself, and builds itself with its own hands and minds. A Kenya that values truth over propaganda and leadership over opportunism. We bring this message not in anger, but in truth. Let this be the turning point for Kenya to evolve. Thank you, Kenya. God bless Kenya. God bless you all.